welcome to another episode of TheNoobTube. We're looking at another levelling spec for Rift on the Mage side. Ash is with me at the moment.
Hi.
Hello, Ash.
Hi.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're going to be looking at the Necromancer soul today in terms of levelling. Now, the Necromancer, it's quite a good soul. It's for levelling. I don't know about PvP, but it's okay, I guess. And it's used at high level again, so it's good to get used to it during levelling. So as you can see, Zach has it laid out already as a Necromancer, a Warlock, always as a soul. They suggest a Warlock and a Dominator for Necromancer, but I always think, you know, a Dominator, it's pretty rubbish for it. It's only used for crowd control, maybe if you're in a group. So me and Zach have decided a Clawromancer would be better for it at the moment.
Yeah, but perhaps an Archon, if needs be. If you like playing Archons, then you can also
because
have that.
I guess the Archon gives you the extra DOT, since, like Warlocks, Necromancers are quite built around DOTs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a Clawromancer, you have that all-important Radiant Spores to heal you up. For leveling.
Over that.
So anyway, let's get a quick look at the Necromancer tree. So usually I would start off putting it in Death's Ally, that's the left tower.
Increases damage and increases the damage of you and your pet's death-based abilities.
So it's a 5% damage increase, and since you're going to be using some Warlock spells as well, it's a good one to be getting.
Basically, any damage increases.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, although the Necromancer Soul is a good one, I found it's better to go into this Necromancer spec once you reach about level 30, maybe go for a Warlock at first.
Right, okay.
So it's better at a higher level. So then once you've done that, the Necrosis is definitely...
Flesh Rot.
Yeah, Flesh Rot.
Yeah.
So that, as Zach can see, that increases your duration of your Necrosis and increases its damage by quite a bit.
You also get these new spells. Necrosis is one, obviously.
And Revivify, which is just your heal. If you've seen the Elementalist, it's basically like their heal for that.
For the pet?
Yeah.
Right.
And Reclaim Power, I never use it as a Necromancer. I play a Necromancer quite a lot, but...
like life tapping, WoW.
Yeah, it's like a life tap on your pet.
Oh,
it
right.
Pet's health and restores mana to your own. So, that's okay, I guess. Now, you have a bit of choice for those last 2 points. I put them in the middle second row, the fresh graves. Just because with Necrosis, it decreases the damage on your skeleton tank.
Right, okay.
I mean, I don't usually full-out buff it, so I just put 2 points in it, usually.
2 points, did you
say? Yeah,
say?
just to make it 10.
Take them out, then. We've unlocked some new spells. Reclaim Power, we've had that one. Essence Link. Reduces any healing the enemy receives by 30% for 60 seconds. Causes undead pets to heal the pet owner for 6 health each time the pet deals damage.
So that's an okay one. I mean, it's a little bit of health every time your pet hits, but if you look on that next line, Symbiosis, I believe it is.
Where's this?
On the
talents. Symbiosis.
Yeah.
There. Symbio.
Yeah, Symbiosis, which just increases your healing.
Right.
That you receive from it by up to 50%. I usually spec that out full.
Okay. Yeah, because that just adds for loads of survivability, doesn't it?
And also, if you look next to it, Grave Rot, that's an AoE. And it's just a useful one. Again, I've said it in the Warlock one, but it's got a bit of a bug in that. It says deals 32 damage over 6 seconds. It deals it actually every second almost. So it actually does more damage than it lets on.
Okay.
So then you get some new spells just going into that alone.
Yeah, Sunil Skeletal Stalwart.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So that's just your tank pet, really. Your life shift. I never use these life shift stuff, but
Shift.
I mean, it's like deals damage to yourself to heal somebody else. I mean, it's a bit of a support ability.
Yeah, it's a bit like in like a party or a raid or something when like the tank's about to die and you're on full health. And
then you get Exhume. That's the most. I mean, it's a pretty impressive ability.
Yeah, like high level spells.
It's a combat res for your pet. So then on the next talent line, the most important one is the left, Soul Siphon.
Soul Siphon.
Soul Purge, sorry, Soul Purge.
Deadly energy on the enemy.
inflicts some damage and heals you for the damage you inflict, and heals your pet.
For 100% of it, or just
what?
Like, for 100% of it, or just like
it heals for even more than it does in damage. So
yeah, that's pretty good. So basically,
so
all about
always get that.
survivability.
Really, you want to be applying all your DOTs, because if you look, when we're spending this, we'll look later, you put your off points in the Warlock tree. And you want to be always applying your DOTs whilst, and then that's sort of your finisher to finish them. Then with your other points, you want to be sticking them in, God, what's it called? The left one. The right one, sorry.
The right one.
The life pain.
Yeah, basically increases the base damage of your pet, which is always good for a bit more DPS.
And usually you put a lot of points.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you can see, Zach's maxed that out, and therefore you've just got
loads of new spells at the bottom. Oh no, just two.
Blood Binding. I mean, again, it's just a weird one. I don't...
Deals death damage to the mage of 10 seconds, but heals an ally. Yeah, that's a bit more of like
a HOT.
Yeah, like an escape button. If
then the other spell is another DOT. Well, not a DOT, it's more of a debuff, which just reduces the enemy's attack power and spell power, so reduces the damage by 5%.
That's not going to be really that important when you're questing, though. I mean, you wouldn't really apply that. I mean, I would. I don't know about you.
I usually do, actually, because it's just 5% damage. It does make some difference to it, but, you know, I guess
it doesn't
down to personal choice.
Yeah, it doesn't increase it or decrease their damage that much.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a useful one to have, really.
Obviously, Feign Death.
Feign Death is just important. It gets you out of so many sticky situations. I mean, I've avoided so much gold costing using that. And then Buff Pet, I mean, the left one.
What is that?
Whatever it's called. Ancient Tomb. I mean,
does that just make your tank pet a bit more powerful?
Yeah. And as well, it just means your pet stops leveling at level 30, but with that, it levels up until 50. So it's just so important if you're ever going to level in it.
Yeah.
And then increasing your pet's health, I mean, just buffing that out to the max is always important.
Yeah, that makes your pet last for much
so
longer.
50% health is just ridiculous.
What's this at the bottom here?
Summon Shadow Revenant. This is more of a PvP pet. You think it's good.
Yeah, like on the Elementalist, they have the water elemental.
Yeah, it's a PvP one. I don't use it personally, but if you go into PvP, you'd want to get that and then get the middle talent of the second to last line, because that increases your Shadow Revenant. But you don't really get that as leveling. I usually the left hand one,
Clattering Bones.
The Clattering Bones, which just it increases your damage of your pet and reduces damage they take.
Right, okay.
It's just a useful one to have.
Match that out.
And I get the right hand one, which it's just I don't know if anybody who's watching has ever played a WoW what's it called? Death Knight, but it's basically a what was it? Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
And it
was always good fun.
Yeah. And then your top spells, your useful one, your Lich Form. This just increases your damage and your mana regeneration. This is a useful one to have. And usually before any boss fight or anything, you want to trigger that off. Maybe, macro it to a spell. So that's a good one.
With the before you move on, with the Raise Dead, Empty the Crypts thing, do the pets you summon taunt things?
No, they don't, but usually things do attack them, it depends.
Yeah, so in like a raid environment,
the only thing I know about Empty the Crypts is it consumes charge while active, but it doesn't stop you from generating charge. So usually if you do that and you spam a few death bolts, you can make sure that you keep up your crypt.
Handy.
So whilst you're doing that, you're always getting these off talent points to spend in the other things.
Because you can't spend too many.
I spend them in the Warlock tree, really. Improve Life Leech, I go for. Definitely fill that out.
Left one, yeah.
Yeah, improve Life Leech. Really, with the Necromancer, what you want to be doing is doing Life Leech, Symbiosis, Necrosis, just all the... You don't want to improve Void Bolt because you don't use that.
That one, though.
Yeah, but the chart...
Yeah, because that would enable you to keep all sorts of stuff up for longer.
Yeah, it's the charge, and you use it quite a lot. And as you can see, by doing this, you get another DOT for your Warlock line, which is very useful. Now, you've already spent quite a few points here, as Zach's shown. So what I do, I get Necromancer up to 34, and then past level 34 I go back into the Warlock tree.
Yeah.
Opportunity, I get Opportunity, definitely.
Where's
the right-hand one.
Right-hand one. Increases...
Which can just 10% chance every time you cast a spell of an instant cast. It means an instant death bolt.
Isn't there something like that on the other talent tree as well? Or am I just...
No, you're just thinking something else.
Yeah. Okay.
And your death grade, you get fear and your buff of endurance.
Oh, yeah. Just look at that.
So then you get
fear there. Endurance.
Then I'd get Nedra's influence, which is just increases your DOTs, and since it increases everything, it benefits the Necromancer tree very nicely.
So do you use a lot of DOTs in Necromancer? Is that basically what it is?
Yeah, you go, my rotation's really Life Leech, Necrosis, then the debuff.
Apply them all. Apply them all. So increasing the damage of those would be a thumbs up.
And then anytime Opportunity triggers, you fire off a Death Bolt.
Right.
So then, in the next line, you want to get the Nedra's Grasp.
Nedra's Grasp. Is it this one? Yeah.
That's just yet another DOT.
Yeah.
Just to add to your already huge arm.
So basically, when you're just walking down, you see a monster, how many DOTs would you stack? About like 10?
7. You put 7 on them.
Yeah,
trust me, you'd think that you'd get improved death bolt or something, but you really don't use them because you're spending too much time applying DOT.
Yeah, by the time they're all applied, they're probably down to about 25% health, and you have time to cast about one spell.
So then I'd spend 3 more points into potency, I believe it's called, is it not? Yes, yeah. Good. Which is just your critical hit. Critical hit's always good to have. And as you can see on your Warlock now spells, you've got that all-important Devouring Shadows and Mortality for AoE, which you'd lack in Necromancer.
Yeah. Mortality is very useful.
Yeah, which just heals you for the amount of damage you do over 6 seconds to everybody in a nearby range. And you got Sacrifice Life for damage. Now, I really do just like applying Lich Form and Sacrifice Life damage because you just get 35% more damage for 15 seconds. And it's just like, overpowered. And then I put my points in the right-hand one.
Chloromancer?
No, the right hand.
Oh, Dark Power.
Yeah. Increases spell damage.
Yeah, that's always good to have.
Yeah.
Base damage. Max it out?
Yep. Now, unfortunately, I'm only a level 45, so I can't...
One level up from last time, though. That's better.
Yeah, well, 44 last time.
Yeah.
But I can't apply all the points, but I would then put it in Improved Warlock Armour to buff that.
Do you still use that? Is that in here somewhere?
Yeah, it's there.
Armor.
Improved Warlock Armour. You were just looking at it. You use Warlock Armour on 26 points in Warlock, so you can just about finish it.
Oh, yeah, there it is. You just got it now.
And that's just an improved version of Dark Armour, so it heals you for some damage you take as well.
Yeah, so basically you can't die.
Yeah. So usually I would just spec out the, what's it called? Armour, and then with the last 2 points you'll have at the end, put it in the Chloromancer tree on Natural Awareness, because that gives you Withering Vines, yet another DOT.
Yeah.
So you'll be on 8 DOT.
And it heals you, yeah.
And then actually you do have quite a nice spec even for when you reach level 50 to do some early dungeons, because it's got good survivability and good damage off those DOTs. So that's really the Necromancer tree.